Welcome to Quantum Revenue Expansion, where we keep you motivated, inspired, and thinking big. Up-leveling into quantum revenue is a choice that we can all make in any moment, and then continue to make that choice to stay in that space each day. On this podcast, Ursula will share revenue growth strategies to reach your next level and introduce you to CEOs just like you who are making it happen. What's your next quantum leap going to be? See it, own it, and take that first step. If this is you, then Ursula wants to invite you to join us at the next 2X Intensive now. Go to salescoachnow.com/apply. You are listening to Quantum Revenue Expansion with your host, Ursula Mentjes. Let's go.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Quantum Revenue Expansion, the podcast. Super excited to be with you today, as always. And today, you get me. It's a solo show, and I haven't done one for a while. Today, we're going to talk about how UpLevel Now became a USA Today bestseller. And I'm excited to share my manifesting tips and the things that I do to create the next things that I desire, that are my heart's desire. And I think so often we hear things about manifesting or we hear things about law of attraction, and I often feel like there's some missing pieces. So I hope I dispel some of those myths today and also reignite the excitement for you in terms of what you want to create next in your business and your life. All right, a couple housekeeping things before we dive in. If you haven't downloaded our free gift that pairs so beautifully with the podcast, please do so. You can go to ursulainc.co, and it's Quantum Revenue Expansion, the masterclass, which our clients who have taken it have reported breakthrough results. I would say this course is valued at $1,000 or more, but we're giving it away. So if you haven't yet, go there, ursulainc.co. Quantum Revenue Expansion, the masterclass. We'll have it in the show notes for you, so not to worry, you can just click below. A couple of things. Inside of the course, we do three things. We talk about how to create your brand new quantum revenue container, which is really cool because so often we have revenue goals, but they're not really rooted in anything, and often they're not stretch goals. So I think you'll really appreciate how I can help you create a new model month for yourself, a new quantum revenue container. Then once you've created that new quantum revenue container, I dive into how to shift your packages, your pricing, your marketing, because when you expand what you're asking to come in revenue-wise, then a lot of other things have to shift with your marketing and your pricing. So it helps unveil that. And I also give you some great tips on how to increase your pricing if you're thinking about that. And finally, the third part of the course is all about how to collapse time and reach your goals even faster. And for a lot of people, they haven't heard the things that I share in that part of the course in quite the same way. So I think you'll find it very enlightening if you haven't taken a listen yet. So again, go to ursulainc.co. It's right there on the homepage. We make it super easy. Second, if you've heard about the 2X Intensive, but you haven't hung out with us yet, we would love to have you. The 2X Intensive is focused on really 2Xing your monthly sales, okay? And shaving 10 or more hours off your work week. Because the belief in the world that we find when we meet with CEOs is that if I'm going to 2X or 10X my sales, that means I'm going to be working all the time. I'm going to be working twice as much. And that's not true. And so the 2X Intensive was really created to help entrepreneurs scale their businesses to the next level and work less. So if that's something you want to learn more about, you can also go to ursulainc.co/apply. We'll have that in the show notes for you as well. And, as always, if you enjoy the show, please leave us a review wherever you love to listen, or you can leave us a Google review. We will have that available for you in the show notes as well. And thank you in advance. Okay, so let's dive into the content. I started writing UpLevel Now probably in 2018. And, as many things were unfolding in my business and in my life. And UpLevel Now is all about making the domino effect work for you and creating more peace, freedom, and joy in your personal and your professional life, right? Because that's what we all want. And so it was a heart project. It was one that I'd been thinking about for a long time. And there was a big part of me that truly wanted this book to reach as many people as possible, way more than any of my books had like my past books had reached. And so that idea was, kind of percolating. It was kind of back there, like how to do that or what that would look like was starting to come forth. Well, then the pandemic hit in 2020, right? So we were about to release the book. The pandemic shows up. Everything was slowed down in the book marketing and release world, right? Like things kind of came to a screeching halt in all of our industries. And so in talking with my publisher, we paused, we took a pause, and it also gave me time to go back and rewrite parts of it, because let's face it, once the pandemic hit, the message of UpLevel Now shifted, right? The message of what what we've been through as a human race started to shift, because we're in a different time. Things are different. People were seeing the world differently. They were thinking about their own lives in a new way, right? And for many, their priorities shifted. So it was a great gift to be able to take some time and go back through the book and make some of those changes. So I did. So finally, fast forward, we're in 2021 and fall of 2021, and I'm meeting with my publishing team, and we decide we're going to release and launch early, like first quarter in 2022. Because the thing with books is it can take a while, right? You write the book, you edit the book, and then you start to think about launching the book, right? And, publishing and launching the book. And so all of those pieces take time. So it was finally all coming together. And one day, I was doing some journaling and really thinking about really what I wanted for this book. And in a download, it was, make UpLevel Now USA Today bestseller. Like that was the first download. And I thought, well, how do you do that? And then I was talking with my publisher, and we were chatting about it as well. And he wasn't exactly sure, right? Like it's just like New York Times bestsellers. There's a formula, and then there's kind of not, right? Like there's some luck involved. I don't know if it's luck, but there's timing, there's certainly volume of books that need to be sold. There's a formula, there's some kind of formula. And so I told my publisher, I said, I'm going to figure this out. I wanted this book. I really want this book to hit USA Today. And here's the thing, publishing companies and book marketing companies are two different things. If you have a publishing company, they're not marketing it for you, right? They're publishing it. So then you want to find other partners that help you market. So the first step was really getting clear on this goal, right? Getting really clear. And I had just a super busy fall, right? Like lots of things were going on, and I kind of forgot about, I knew that we were going to be launching it, but I kind of just forgot about the goal for a moment, even though I'd written it down. And this is really key. And if you haven't heard this part of my process before, I want to make sure you hear it now if you're a new listener. One of the things I do religiously is use check boxes in front of my goals. Because if you think about it, we often use check boxes when we write our tasks down. I do it all the time. I write, I have my task list with little check boxes in front of it, because I know that, that we're going to check that box and it's going to be done. And that came from my research in my book, The Belief Zone. If you're watching the video, you can see the belief zone back here. Because when I researched not only my own goal achievement, goal setting process and achievement, but other people's, of course, writing it down was critical, right? I found out that statistically, you're 99% more likely to reach a goal simply by writing it down, which is a big deal. It's a really big deal, right? Then I noticed that the goals that showed up quickly for me were the ones that I had personally used check boxes in front of. And so I started to do that again. I started to religiously put check boxes in front of my goals, because if you look at it, the psychology of the box says to the thing in front of it, you will be completed. You will come into fruition, right? We do it all the time with our task list. This is going to happen. So why don't we do it with goals? So often we're taught, or maybe not even taught, we just do this as a society. We typically write numbers in front of our goals. We number them, write them down. Subconsciously, when you number them, you're putting them in a certain order. It's like you're saying to the goal, this one first, then this one, and so on. When maybe that's not the best way. Maybe they don't have to be in that order, right? Because what I noticed is when I put check boxes, they would show up not in order, in different times, in different ways, and they also showed up faster. It was as if that box was saying to the goal, again, you will be completed, I will check you off. And that just became a thing. And so I wrote about it in the Belief Zone, and our clients started to use that process and started to work really well for them also. So if you haven't done that yet, if you don't write your goals with check boxes in front of you, I want to encourage you to do it. Like, it tells your subconscious you're going to do it. So I had done that. I had done that with, UpLevel Now becoming USA Today bestseller. And then I forgot about it. Fast forward to December, like, we're getting closer to Q1. I mean, there's a lot that has to happen with book marketing ahead of the game, right? There's just a lot of moving pieces. And so I was getting a little nervous about it. Like, all of a sudden it was coming up. We're in December. I don't want to panic, but I have no idea. In December, I have zero idea on how my book is going to become a USA Today bestseller. Zero. I'm talking to my publisher, and we're trying to figure it out and work out the numbers and how many books we'd have to sell and all these things. And I thought, well, we can still do it. Like, I think I can do it, but doubt had clearly crept in. So I was on the phone with one of my coaches. I have coaches that I work with. I'm sure many of you have coaches, right? Or maybe you're part of our coaching community. And I was on the phone with my coach, and I was just sharing with her that this doubt had started to creep in. And like, I wasn't sure at this point, do I still want the goal? And that's what happens, right? We start to doubt, or we disqualify ourselves, or we say, maybe that's for somebody else, or maybe that's the next book, or we make up a story. And my coach lovingly reminded me that if that's truly what I want, if that's truly what I desire, on some level it's already done, but I have to claim it. Like, I have to say, this is what I want. You have to step into it and say, this is what I want. I'm claiming this goal. So I thought, oh my gosh, she's right. So I went and did some work on my own belief, right? I have a whole book about beliefs. So I'm going to follow my own teachings and advice. So I went back, and I really looked at this doubt and this limiting belief that had crept in that was saying, oh, maybe you can't. Maybe that's not possible for you. And I started to ask myself, and this is what we do with our clients. I started to ask myself, what's not true about my doubt? This doubt that my book cannot be a USA Today bestseller. Like, what's not true about that? And quickly I realized that I hadn't recommitted. Like, there's something about stepping into your goal, making a decision that you're all in. And I wasn't all in at that point. So I was looking at that. I'm like, I'm not really all in. It's not that I don't believe it, but I'm kind of not all in. Like, I haven't practiced what I know, which is when you make a decision, you close the door on everything else. You get all in. The root of the word decide means to close the door, right? So I got all in. I stepped into it. And what I also realized is, of course, other people had USA Today bestseller, but like, there was so much evidence that it was possible that this book could be a USA Today bestseller. Like, it was just waiting for me. It was just waiting, right? And so I stepped back into it, and I started to just crush the doubt. Every doubt that had come up about it, I just let it go. And then I got this inspired idea to take some action, right? Because when you make a decision, no matter what goal you're working on, when you make a decision and you're all in, the way to show up, or the way to move forward, always shows up. The next step will show up. The question is whether or not you want to take the next step, because often we can get into resistance. The way showed up. And I remember thinking, this is so amazing, right? This is so incredibly powerful. And I was reminded of the process that when you step in again, when you get committed, the way shows up. It always shows up. And so I moved forward with the way that had shown up. And I'm not going to go into tons of detail of the way that showed up, because everybody's way is different. If there's anything I've learned, it's that, right? We all use different marketing ideas. We all use different ways to reach our goal. And so the way showed up, and I stepped into it, and I said yes. I share this with you because your way is around you as well. You might, like, if you have a goal and you haven't reached it yet, you might want to go back and look at the goal, right? Look at it and ask yourself, am I all in? What's my number one limiting belief about this goal? What do I need to shift to be 100% in on this is what I'm choosing. It's already done. This is what I'm choosing. It's already done. It's one of my coaches says to me over and over again, Ursula, like, what are you choosing? And then once you've chosen it, it's done. And the invitation is to not fall back into the doubt or the fear or the thought that it's not possible. And I mean, that's not always easy to do, right? Doubt can show up in so many ways. It's easy to disqualify ourselves. But when you go through this process and you stay in the energy of that which you're wanting, it's going to show up for you. So often, though, what we see is people give up. They give up, as Napoleon Hill so eloquently said, we give up 3 feet. We give up 3 feet from gold. We stop. 3 feet from, like, you're 3 feet from, like, what if right now you who I'm speaking to right now, what if you are 3 feet from goal and you don't even know it? Like, what if your goal is so much closer than you think? So we launched UpLevel Now the week of April 3rd. And April 15th, we found out that we'd sold thousands of copies and the book was now a USA Today bestseller. And I remember the moment when I received the email with the notice, right, that we had become a USA Today bestseller. I'll never forget it because I held to that vision. I held to the goal, even when there was so much doubt and so many reasons why it might not have worked out. And then more recently, I had the opportunity to share my experience with another author who wanted to become an Amazon bestselling author. And we had a very, I don't know, maybe a 30-minute conversation. And I walked her through the process. Amazon bestseller, it doesn't have as many moving parts as USA Today. So that one we've done multiple times. In fact, UpLevel Now was the #1 bestseller on Amazon for weeks. It's still like in the top 100 in several categories, so still considered a bestseller. And that was just a nice side effect. We didn't even focus on that. The Amazon bestseller just happened because we were focusing on the bigger goal, right? So I had another author reach out and she was like, hey, how do you do it? And so we sat down in 30 minutes. I broke it down for her. And that was the goal that she was wanting to manifest. And what's really crazy is I showed up in her world through somebody else, right? And she'd been praying for this manifestation of wanting to have a best-selling book and become a best-selling author. And I showed up in her world. So it was really fun to see that from both angles, because on the one hand, I, chose this goal and invited the right people in to support me to hit USA Today bestseller. And then this author, had this prayer and this ask out in the world, and I showed up in her world to help her manifest that goal of becoming a best-selling author, which she did. She did it in like a week. She did it in hyper speed and knocked it out of the water. And so again, I share this with you because the goals that you desire, the things that you want, don't give up on them. You're not too young, too old, too inexperienced. It's not about not knowing the right people. All those are just garbage and stories that we tell ourselves that are lies. They're total lies. And so I'm bringing this message to you today because I want to invite you to step back into the goal, to step back into that which you dream of, to step back into your heart's desires and claim them for yourself. Say yes to that goal that you've been asking for. Say yes to that heart's desire that keeps showing up in your world, because it's your time. It's your time. And you can shift beliefs easily. I'm pointing at the belief zone for those who are listening to the audio. I'm pointing at the belief zone. This is your time to reclaim that which is yours. This is your birthright. Success is your birthright. Money, financial, that is your birthright. Everybody on the planet deserves their heart's desires. And this seems like a secret that a lot of people don't know. There's more than enough for everyone. There's more than enough. Just because I have something doesn't mean someone else can't have it. Or if someone else has something doesn't mean I can't have it. And we've been led to believe that there's not enough. We're led to believe that there's scarcity. We're led to believe that we have to live in a world filled with fear. And that's a lie. That is a lie. You have to remember that when you're watching some of the news stations that are out there or looking at the internet, they're only putting the bad, scary news out there because that's what sells. That's what people click on. But it's not what's really happening in the world. Yeah, it's part of the story, but it's not the only story. There are millions of people who are living their dreams, and there are millions of people who have forgotten their dreams. And for those of you who have forgotten your dream, I want to invite you back to it. So let's close with a little visualization. I just want to anchor this in for you. And I invite you to come back and listen to this again. Like if you need this inspiration, this motivation to remember that your goals are waiting for you, I invite you to listen to this multiple times, as many times as you need to. Keep coming back to it to remember that your goal is there for you too. So I invite you to gently close your eyes. Feel your feet on the floor, your seat on your seat. Take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. Good, and then out through your mouth. Just let your day go. Beautiful. And from this space, I invite you to gently tune into your heart. Just imagine you could take a step into your heart and your heart's desires. And as you tune into your heart and your heart's desires, I want you to check what's there. What are your heart's desires right now? I want you to think of two or three heart's desires that are really important to you right now. Good. Awesome. And then I invite you, one by one, to look at each heart's desire and say yes to it again. To make a decision that you are all in on your heart's desire, that you are up for this. You are ready for this. This has not passed for you. This is still there for you. So in your mind for a moment, just say yes to each heart's desire that's there. Beautiful. Good. And know that when you say yes to your heart's desire, the next steps will show up. So I invite you to pay attention this week. Pay attention to the next steps that are showing up around you. The invitations that come to you, asking you to step up and step into that which is calling you, your heart's desire. Beautiful. Awesome. So you can gently wiggle your fingers and toes, open your eyes and come back to the space. I just want to congratulate you for stepping into that. I can feel the power of your heart's desire. And I want to remind you that it's there. It's still waiting for you. It hasn't gone away. And this is your moment. It's your moment. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out this week. If there's anything we can do for you or any way we can support you, email us at contact@ursulainc.co. And we would love to support you on your journey. Definitely get the free gift. And if you want to hang out with us at the 2X Intensive, again, ursulainc.co/apply, send us your information. And we do have a special package for podcast listeners who attend the 2X Intensive. So fill it out and let us know you heard it here, and we'll definitely get that for you. All right, everybody, that's it for now. Make this your best week yet. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for joining us today. And if you are ready to make your next quantum leap, let's do it. Ursula invites you to join us at the 2X Intensive. Go to salescoachnow.com/apply. Don't forget to leave us a review on your favorite podcast app.